Hello everyone, welcome to Kidsstoppress.com. Today we're absolutely delighted because we have with us Mrs. Neerja Birla, who's the chairperson and founder of Mpower, a mental health center for adolescents and children in Mumbai. Mrs. Birla, thank you so much for speaking with us today and taking our time to be with us.
Thanks very much, Mansi. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. What was that seed behind Mpower?
So I don't think there was one particular seed. I think it was a process. Actually, I'm already running two schools.
Right.
One is a mainstream and one is a school for children with special needs. Plus, I have my own three kids, ranging from 22 to 12. So I think one has seen children at different ages, different phases, and one realizes that all kids go through ups and downs in life, and they need that kind of emotional support from time to time. I think we all also as parents go through our own ups and downs, and I think we all can do with help from time to time, and I think that's how the whole thing kind of developed. And my daughter, my older one, Ananya, and I would just she was just going to university at that time, and we were just sort of talking, and we just sort of started talking, and even she felt that there is a real need that we should have some sort of place which provides services for teenagers and adolescents who really need help, who don't have anywhere to reach out to, don't have anyone to listen to, nobody who can listen to them. So that's how the whole thing sort of came into being. So it was a process that we sort of went through, and here we are today.
Do you want to tell our readers a little bit more about Mpower?
So Mpower is a center for mental health. We're focusing primarily on children, adolescents and young adults, which means at about to the age of 25, 30. And for their parents and families, because I think caregivers and parents are equally part of it and go through the whole trauma when their child is not well. So, and we are providing psychiatric as well as psychological services, different forms of therapies. You have counseling, you have like art-based therapy, play therapy, dance therapy, animal-assisted pet therapy. So we have an entire gamut of various different kinds of therapies, along with the traditional counseling and the psychiatric services.
Right. Mrs. Birla, like you mentioned, you already run a school and a special school for children. So what brought you into the kids segment altogether? Was it like a conscious thought-through decision, or
I think, like I said, my firstborn is 22. So I think, being a mother, I think one just automatically tends to veer towards that.
Yeah.
And I have somehow just been very passionate about children right from the beginning. So I think it was just something that naturally came to me. And then now when I think about it, I think it was just a natural transition that was meant to be, really.
Right. How do you see stamp out stigma, reaching the critical mass really, and not confined to a center?
So that's a very good point, because I do believe that one center itself really can't do too much. It has to be a ripple effect. We got to reach out to people got to reach out to another set of people. So unless we are not able to create that ripple effect, one center alone, one small team alone really cannot work magic and wonders. So to that effect, I mean, we are in our own little way, trying to create awareness about it. We took part in a marathon in Jan. We had another cycle ride called Ride to Empower, where we had about 1,000 people participating. We do have, of course, we have the website. We're trying to be on Twitter. So we're trying to create awareness, trying to be out there with articles, trying to create conversations about it, because that's the only way that you can really reach out to people. The plan is also there to, have outreach programs, reach out to many different kinds of schools, reach out to rural areas. So that's how I guess we can reach out one step at a time.
Sure. How do you look into every detail and still manage that the execution is so fantastic? How do you manage your time so beautifully?
Thank God. Well, I don't think I manage my time so beautifully. Honestly, I think it is a struggle. I think like all of us with kids and work, it does get a little, it definitely is a challenge.
Right.
And for me, the kids always come first, actually.
Right.
So there are times when I'm having to drop certain things that I've planned and certain meetings that I've planned because one of my kids needs me. So to that extent, then I'm kind of, juggling, and I'm kind of feeling oh my God, how am I going to do it? But yeah, I mean,
You don't know how.
I don't know how, but I've got a great team actually. In all three places, I've got a really great team. And
so the key is to get the right team in place,
absolutely,
right? That's one advice you would give to women founders, especially who are moms.
Yeah, you have to have the right team in place. You have to have the right people, the like-minded people who understand your vision, who understand your passion. You have to be on the same page because it's only then that you can really move forward. I mean, alone, there's really nothing you can do.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, for all of us, children are our priorities.
Right.
So there are times, even in my team, and we all have young kids. So there are times when they really need to leave it and go and attend to one of the child's sports day or parent-teacher interview, and that's just the way it works. So I mean, when everybody else fills in.
Right.
So you just have to have a really good team.
Mrs. Birla, from the time that your older one, Ananya, was now 23, 22, till to kids that you see today and your youngest one, how has parenting really changed?
So I think in fact you're right, because even between my older one who's 22 and my youngest who's 12, I find there's a little bit of a generation gap there itself.
Right.
Just the way their thinking is. I think for the older one, I mean, of course, even now, I mean, we stay in a joint family. I stay with my mother-in-law. But I think by and large, people are now living by themselves. So you only have parents and you have their kids. So to that extent, it's obviously more difficult because then you don't have a support system. I mean, in my case, of course, my family, my parents live here, my brothers, my bhabhi. So that's a huge support system that I have. But for people who don't have that support system, it can get tough because then you're having to leave your kids with caretakers. Right. You have to trust them, but they can't really replace the mother or the father. So that is a little bit of a change, and I think also the exposure has just increased tremendously. Even from, I'm telling you, like say from my daughter, my older ones to my younger ones. My younger one is far more exposed. With the internet and with so many different social media available.
Right.
And that was not there even in my older one's time. Even during Ananya's time, that was not there. I mean, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, Facebook. So, all that has also obviously changed. So you have to really, you really have to know the pulse of your child.
What's the road ahead for Mpower?
So like I said, let me explain this. We've got three verticals actually. So one is Empower the Movement, which is creating awareness about mental health and trying to alleviate the stigma as far as possible. I don't know whether the stigma can completely go because it's so deep rooted, but at least we can try to alleviate and reduce it to whatever extent possible. In fact, the campaign is called #StampOutStigma.
Right.
So that's one arm of it. So the next arm is Empower the Center. And the other one is Empower the Foundation, which is going to reach out to the lower socioeconomic strata. Services offered in both are going to be the same.
Okay.
Both will have psychiatric and counseling services. So in its own field, as far as the movement is concerned, the idea is to have, say we want to have a mental health conference,
Right.
have more dialogue around it, create more awareness about
Right.
it. Try and reach out to the smaller cities, try and reach out to rural parts of India. Like so we did the cycle ride, reached out to more people. So like that, grow that in order to reach out to more people.
Sure.
With the center, we're also looking at having different kinds of workshops for parents, for therapists, for children. Again, the idea being that the more awareness is created, the more the people are educated, the more people know about it and realize that it's not such a big deal. It's okay to have a condition. It's really okay. So also reaching out to different schools, different ICSE, IB schools, because I think schools is where children spend so much of their time that reaching out to them in that space, I think we would be able to attract a crowd there.
Sure.
And similarly for the foundation, reach out to the municipality schools, the SSC schools, people in that community, have more outreach programs, reach out to, say, the slums, again, talk about the mental health issues there, and so we're trying to kind of reach out in different fields and as far as possible.
Mrs. Birla, what has been the biggest challenge working with Mpower? I mean, or sowing the seeds. What's been your biggest challenge?
Honestly, actually, it's just been so much fun. I mean, I think we all are such a passionate team that we've really enjoyed it so far.
Okay.
So,
I think the challenge would be to break that, to literally stamp out stigma, right?
But see, that's a part of the deal. So I don't know it's a challenge. Because that's what the mandate is, really.
Right.
So, had I not been able to get a good team, or had I not been able to get like-minded people, then it would have been a challenge. But that's not been the case. And the whole mandate is to wipe out the stigma.
Right.
So I guess that's part of the job.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. It was an absolute pleasure. And
thank you very much, Martin. Thanks very much.
Yeah, really, thank you.
Hi, I'm Neerja Birla, and you're watching me on Kidsstoppress.com.